Ousmane Dembele. You know, when you talk about someone finding his home at a club, finding his comfort and producing, you know, he's had to play second fiddle to Mbappe, to Messi, to Neymar, big names, and it's never quite happened for him. But he's just put it all together, and he's looking like, again, we looked at Harry Kane, a Ballon d'Or. If PSG go and win this tournament, which I think they're very, very capable of, he could be a Ballon d'Or. It's spread out amongst 5 or 6 players. It'll all come down to who can get the job done in the Champions League.
How much of that as well is finding the right manager? Because it's really been quite transformative for him under Luis Enrique.
Yeah, I mean, I was reading a lot about him, how they're trying to... You mentioned the Ballon d'Or. That was a conversation that he said to him at the start of the year. Look, if the team does well and you've got a great opportunity and you will be the leader in this. And obviously, I'm keen to know what he had for Christmas, what he ate over Christmas, because he's come back into 2025 absolutely superb. But yeah, it's definitely Luis Enrique's got the best out of him. But I do have to agree with Joe. Sometimes when the shadows of other people kind of go, you have to step up and you can kind of hide and give the ball to those other players because they're the senior, the big stars. But actually now you have to step up. And Luis Enrique said that to him and dangled the carrot and various individual awards and said, well, go on, this is your time and you have the quality. And he's certainly showing it this season.
What did you think of the chances that Liverpool had tonight?
Frustrated. As Joe mentioned actually last week, you're thinking, you know, it was a smash and grab this weekend. No, tonight rather, they had the opportunities and just didn't take them, whether it was Donnarumma, you know, Salah maybe not having his clinical moments when you expected it to go to. But yeah, look, unfortunately for Liverpool, it just wasn't their night tonight, and I'm sure we'll get to see the chances in a second, but they had quite a few, didn't they, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, they just, like I said, the overall performance from box to box for Liverpool was a lot better. You know, there was a synergy. They looked more themselves. The crowd were driving them on, but PSG soaked it all up. You know, they soaked it all up. This is a lovely touch from McAllister. And the vision to pick out Salah. We all thought he's going to just let it go. Look there, he opens up. He could have shot, you know, and what a block from Mendes. Again, Donnarumma getting down smartly to his right. You know, this was at this moment early on in the game. The cop was rocking, Anfield were going, and there was just chances being created left, right and centre. You know, the blocks here, that's Pacho again. This is the difference in this PSG. I know we're talking about Liverpool's chances, but the difference in this PSG team is in stressful moments, they're calm. You know, even the goalie there, he's not tapping it into somebody, he's putting it into an area. They're dealing with set pieces. Liverpool had chances to win this game, no doubt. But over the balance of the course of the 2 legs, it would have to be a very, very, you know, biased Liverpool fan to say that the better team didn't go through because PSG performed better. PSG created chances tonight. It was just a more balanced game. But I think the manager's right. I said that whoever wins this tie, I think you'll see them in the final. And I think PSG will get to the final. I think they're the best side I've seen left in the competition. Well,
Honest Stock called them the most complete team after that first leg that they'd faced. And then it comes down to a penalty shootout. Obviously, Alisson in inspired form in that first leg, but Donnarumma as well. It is such a tough goalkeeper to go up against in a shootout.
Look how big he is, though, Lindsay. He's absolutely massive. I was saying to Joe, I was behind the goal for the penalties in the Euros. And he's just massive. He's such a big goalkeeper, and it scared me. But look, it's unfortunate. I don't think Darwin was at his best tonight, so I was very worried when he stepped up. I thought in his game he wasn't great, and I felt for Curtis because he's been brilliant this season. And look, you're up against it then, and for them to do that at Anfield as well, you know. It was their moment tonight, and it has been building, as Joe mentioned.
Nunez has obviously had a lot of criticism already this season, and then in a big moment, tough for him, but doesn't deliver. What next for Darwin Nunez?
Listen, he's a very, very good footballer, and he's had some fantastic moments in his Liverpool career, and he's going to be a league champion this year. You know, he's just not ready to lead the line for Liverpool regularly. That might not mean he needs to go to a club just at the second rundown, somewhere that maybe plays a little bit more suited to his style. I'm thinking something like an Atletico Madrid, you know, maybe one of the Italian teams. You know, you know, he needs to get out and play because he's one of them players you want him in your squad because you see him at the weekend, he's scoring goals, he runs. If you give him 5 minutes, he'll give everything for the team and for the cause. But ultimately, moments of quality. Tonight, there were some occasions when, right, this is what this is it. This is when we need you to handle the ball, choose the right pass, you know, get us up the pitch. Not even score a goal. Score a goal, obviously, if you can. But, and he didn't. But for Darwin, I think his future probably lies elsewhere. But let's not forget, he's done a stellar job for this squad. He's just not ready to lead the line for Liverpool regularly.
And the question now, I guess, is how that leaves Liverpool going into that cup final on Sunday against Newcastle.
I'm sure you was
a
very
tough night
excited.
Tonight. I was very excited when it went to extra time.
Linz wanted an extra time.
Well, PSG through, and they will face either Aston Villa or Club Brugge. Villa in pole position there, 3-1 up. Do you expect them having any problems tomorrow night finishing the job, Karen?
Well, you were talking about Newcastle, Liverpool. I'm a Birmingham fan, as everyone I always mention. So, but I have to do back Aston Villa in this. I thought that, you know, Club Brugge have shocked Atalanta in the previous round and they're a good team, they're well organised, but I think Aston Villa have just got that little bit about them. I think they have that, the manager has that experience, and I don't think they won't win tomorrow.
Arsenal, they can pretty much put their feet up going into their second leg, can't they?
I think
wear their slippers for it.
I think us three could play in that game and Arsenal will still go through, judging by PSV's
You two might be able to, not me, I don't think.
Honestly, sometimes things infuriate you and you don't know why. And I just think, because how PSV have just let a game like that, like slip. You know, you want to just be in the game. Be losing 1-0, be losing 2-0, but have something to contend. They've got to come now. Now, it's, you know, they might as well go to Harrods in the daytime because when they play the game, it's, you know, they're just there for it. It's just wallpaper. You know, Arsenal will be a procession. They'll go and win the game. I just feel for the PSV fans, you know, probably bought their tickets to come here and see, and they haven't watched their team play against Arsenal reserves and probably get beat.
The Madrid derby. Finally balanced. Real Madrid obviously have the lead from that one. But does home advantage for Atletico tomorrow, could that help them swing it in their favour?
I think so. Look, it'll be an intimidating place, but I equally don't think Real Madrid players will be too kind of worried about that. There's experienced players that have been in hostile environments before. I thought in the first leg, I thought for the first 20 minutes, Ancelotti tactically outdid, you know, Atletico, and they struggled with that, but got back into the game. And then obviously Diaz with that little bit of magic, whether he tripped over or not. But look, it's a tight game. You know, he kept them in it from Atletico's perspective, so it makes it all good for tomorrow's game. But I still back Real Madrid to go through. And
just quickly, Joe, Lille Dortmund, who goes through? Your all-club Lille. Can they do it at home?
Allez les dogs. Yeah, that's what they say. Yeah, no, listen, my team, love them. Great. They've been fantastic this year, and I'd love to see them through to the last day. What an achievement it'll be for everyone there. What a way to end the show with Joe speaking French once again. We love it. You can see all of those games tomorrow live on TNT Sports. Lille Dortmund, that's the early game. It gets underway at 5:30 on 4. Villa Bruges is on TNT Sports 1. All the build-up starts at 7 o'clock for that one. Arsenal's match on 2, and the Madrid derby is on 3. Merci beaucoup, Joe. Karen, thank you very much for your company tonight. That's it from the Champions League from this night, when Bayern went through, Barca went through, Inter as well, but Liverpool
along the front three. When they had the ball, they played with 11. When they didn't play with the ball, they played with 8 players. Never going to win a big competition. This team can go all the way. I think they'll be going to play Aston Villa now. Yeah. And I think Villa are going to be right up against it. This will be a difficult game for Aston Villa.
What about Liverpool, though? I mean, this is another, you know, there was originally a quadruple shout. Now that's been reduced to 2. So, you know, what are we thinking for Liverpool? How does Arne Slot get his side to bounce back? The league, fine, don't need to worry about that. But then, obviously, thinking about next Sunday and Newcastle.
Well, that's the thing. They've got to pick them up. Got to pick them up for the League Cup. I know it's a nice one to get picked up for, but they'll be disappointed. You know, playing here tonight, going out the Champions League, and you looked at the draw, and, you know, if they could have won, they would have probably played Aston Villa, where they'd have fancied themselves, even though I thought it would have been a hard game. Yeah. Now they've got to pick themselves up. The only bonus here is for Newcastle.
But I mean, how much will that extra 30 minutes plus penalties taken out? Not just physically, but psychologically.
Yeah,
as well.
I would think mentally losing the game. If they'd have won the game and won on penalties, that energy would have come. You get the air in the lungs. Now they'd be a bit distraught. They'd be disappointed. They've got to pick themselves up for a cup final against a team, you know, that haven't won a trophy since I was born. So it's a massive football match, big advantage to Newcastle tonight.
Yeah, and listen, you know, as I mentioned, you know, there was a potential quadruple. If Liverpool do go on to win that final and win the league, how would Arne Slot reflect on this? Going, well, actually, league and League Cup versus what else there could have been.
The Premier League's the holy grail. It's the holy grail.
Especially when you're Liverpool, I guess.
Yeah, of course, you've got to win the Premier League. You know, this would have been an absolute bonus. They go on and win the league. It'd be an absolute phenomenal season for Liverpool Football Club.
Merce, appreciate you staying late to finish that one off for us.
Thank
A
you.
shame about Liverpool, obviously, as far as Liverpool fans are concerned. They are out of the Champions League. PSG win that 4-1 penalties. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Now then, elsewhere, Harry Kane scored as Bayern Munich cruised into the last 8 with a 5-0 aggregate victory over Bayer Leverkusen. Bayern won it 2-0 on the night with Kane's goal his 10th in Europe this season, more than any Englishman has managed in one campaign. Bayern will now play Inter Milan after the Italian side progressed against Feyenoord. Barcelona beat Benfica 4-1 on aggregate.
Liverpool finally met their match this season, knocked out of the Champions League by a thrilling Paris Saint-Germain side in an enthralling tie that only penalties could decide. Both teams are runaway leaders in their domestic leagues, but though Arne Slot's side are blowing away everyone in the Premier League, they were unable to squeeze past the League One side in the tightest and most fascinating of last 16 games. It was only a shame that these two sides didn't meet later in the competition. Luis Enrique, the PSG coach, had made the bold claim that the winner would get to the final. It would have been a worthy addition. Bucket loads of shots, keepers busy, some of the finest attackers, midfielders and defenders testing each other to the extremes. They were inseparable over the two ties. Liverpool, accused of a smash-and-grab win with a goal from their only shot on target, after facing 27 in total, in Paris, turned up here to attack, rather than defend, their slender lead, but were left stunned by an early PSG counter. The goal momentarily silenced a rabid Anfield crowd. For 12 breathless minutes, they cheered every PSG mistake, whistled every touch, jeered every misplaced pass. Then PSG's goal came out of nowhere by the most fortuitous of circumstances. They broke swiftly, Ousmane Dembélé picking up the ball and feeding Bradley Barcola. When he played a low ball across the box, Ibrahima Konate slid in front of Alisson Becker, knocking the ball past his wrong-footed keeper and allowing Dembélé a tap-in. Anfield had been a giant balloon filling with pressure and intensity. Dembélé burst it from yards out. While many were still in hats and scarves mode, a not insignificant group of hardened PSG fans braved the cold by removing tops, kept warm by the combined heat of leaping up and down in unison and the furious pace and tempo on the pitch, Liverpool's attacking possession and their opponents' counters combining like matches and kindling. Meanwhile, Alisson was busy again blocking one-on-ones, while Virgil van Dijk prevented a Kvaratskhelia shot from flying in. But if they had seemed to be shrinking in the tie, Liverpool came out steaming in the second half, flooding PSG's half with attack after attack, forcing their previously forward-thinking opponents to worry defensively. They pressed and passed and chipped away, striking the inside of either post through Trent Alexander-Arnold and his replacement Jarell Quansah, while their opponents could barely get out of their own half. As legs grew tired, Liverpool grew into the game and had chances to win it. In the end, it was probably fitting that penalties were the only thing that could separate these two remarkable sides.